Did you notice the cheeky little whack towards Tony Abbott that was there at the end of Laurie Oakes's package tonight? We just ran it here, and of course it ran on 9 News this evening. Now, I'm not here to defend Tony Abbott, but I do want to tell you the full detail behind that little whack. The little whack that suggested that Tony Abbott was fully in support of increasing the Medicare levy to pay for disability care, but he couldn't be bothered to turn up in Parliament today to see the Prime Minister and her emotional speech. Well, I can tell you exactly where Tony Abbott was. He was upstairs in the press gallery talking to me in the TUE studio. He was talking to me at 9 o'clock in a planned interview, an interview that is traditional the day after a budget and something that we had booked more than 24 hours in advance. Good planning from our team, right? The interesting thing, though, is that while the virtue is being made of the fact that Tony Abbott just couldn't be bothered to go down and be part of the vote, I want to show you a picture. This is taken by one of my Fairfax colleagues. Now, the picture clearly shows there are no opposition people there, bar Kevin Rudd, Kevin Andrews, the bare number that's needed. But you may also notice inside that picture there are no independents. You may also notice in that picture that there are no members of the Greens. You may also notice in that picture that there are several Labor MPs that missed that speech. And if you pay absolutely close attention, you would see that barely a third of the front bench would be there for the Prime Minister's announcement. You see, while there was something that was on the notice papers that this was due to happen today, Labor MPs themselves were not told that that speech was going to happen until literally moments before it happened. The timing of that speech was the post-budget day stunt. The timing of that speech was all about moving on from what had been disastrous coverage of the federal government's budget. And it is disingenuous of the Prime Minister, her people, and people in the media to pretend that everyone knew what was going on. Now, I spent most of the morning playing whack-a-mole with the sycophants in the Prime Minister's office who were running around telling journalists, many of whom ignored, but some who decided to bite just because it was a chance to whack the bloke who may well be Prime Minister in a few months' time, that he would rather spend time talking to talkback radio shock jocks than actually go into the Parliament and talk about and watch a speech about disability care. The truth of the matter was, Labor MPs, I'll show you the photo again, Labor MPs, dozens of them weren't even in the damn Parliament. And she needs every one of those MPs to turn up and vote, along with the Greens, who weren't there, along with the Independents, who weren't there, to get that thing to pass the lower house to ultimately go up to the Senate and become law. It was a post-budget day stunt. And the Prime Minister's office, trying to rub Tony Abbott's nose in it, well, they might as well rub Rob Oakeshot's, Tony Windsor's and Adam Bant's as well, not to mention the front bench that weren't there. Over to you, Prime Minister. 2 questions. What's the $463 million for, and where the hell was your own front bench when you were talking about one of your proudest achievements?